Suzuki Ignis Review. It seems just about every manufacturer is throwing its hat into the small SUV ring at the moment, but few are more experienced at engineering and building them than Suzuki. This time around, though, it's taken the small part to the extreme with its all-new Ignis. At just 3.7 meters long, 1.69 meters wide and 1.6 meters tall, the Ignis is a rival for city cars such as the Fiat 500 and Vauxhall Atom on size. But given its flared wheel arches, bluff nose and jacked-up stance, you'd be forgiven for calling it a small SUV, and when Suzuki's optional all-grip all-wheel drive system is added, that argument stacks up even more. Just one engine option is available. Suzuki's 89 bhp naturally aspirated 1.2-liter four-cylinder petrol unit. The only variation is the option of a mild hybrid application previously seen in the firm's Baleno. This uses a belt-driven integrated starter, generator and a second lithium-ion battery that assist the engine during warm starts, takeoff and acceleration. The result of all that is slightly better fuel economy and lower CO2 emissions of 97 grams/km. Underpinning everything is the same high-tensile steel chassis on which the Baleno is based, but the Ignis's smaller dimensions mean a remarkable curb weight figure of 855 kilograms for the entry-level front-wheel drive model. Talking of trims, there are three from which you can choose: SZ3, SZT and SZ5. Entry-level SZ3 cars get 15-inch steel wheels, front electric windows, Bluetooth connectivity, air conditioning and rear privacy glass as standard. Upgrading to SZT gets you sliding rear seats, roof rails, rugged exterior body moldings, smartphone integration and a rear view camera, while topping the range is the SZ5 Ignis adds front fog lights, keyless entry and start, climate control, cruise control and dual camera brake support. A power output of 89 bhp may sound modest, but the Ignis doesn't really want for more, even in the heavier all-grip model. The usual rules apply, with natural aspiration and only a maximum of 88 pounds-foot to call upon at 4,400 revolutions per minute. Quick sprints require patience and/or a gear change. Still, it's an engine that has no issue with being pushed, and Suzuki's 5-speed manual gearbox is precise enough to make the whole driving experience rather enjoyable. Mind you, the rest of the car isn't so keen, because its steering is rather slow, vague off-center and inconsistently weighted, while there's pronounced body roll in corners. Nevertheless, the Ignis's light-weight and short wheelbase at least help it to feel agile, and it has plenty of grip on the road. Off it, the all-grip technology is designed to help the Ignis cross muddy fields rather than traverse mountain ranges, but the fact that hill descent control is a feature on the all-wheel drive models is impressive. The soft setup translates to a largely comfortable ride, with the Ignis's front McPherson strut and rear torsion beam suspension providing a pleasantly controlled long wave cushion over dips and crests, albeit tinged with a fidgety secondary ride beneath it at town speeds. Up the pace and you needn't travel far down a lumpy back road before the little Suzuki's dampers run out of travel, but given the car's price tag, the ride is undoubtedly cultured enough beside its established competition. Aside from the some tire roar over particularly coarse stretches of asphalt, the Ignis manages to be a fairly refined at a cruise. Ask a lot of the engine and it begins to sound strained beyond 4,000 revolutions per minute, but otherwise it settles down to a background hum and resists sending vibrations through the pedals or steering wheel. The Ignis is competent on the road rather than outstanding, then, but inside things are much more impressive. For starters, the Ignis will seat 4 adults in complete comfort, and we're talking knees free from backrests and heads well clear of the ceiling here. The driver also gets a decent amount of adjustability behind the wheel, if you steer clear of entry-level SZ3 trim, and behind you is an impressive 260-liter boot, 204 liters if you get all-grip. Go for an SZT or SZ5 Ignis and the rear seatbacks adjust and the seats themselves fold flat and slide back and forth in a 50-50 configuration. So clever and spacious is the Ignis that the fact that its interior materials are exclusively low-rent matters much less, more so because Suzuki has at least experimented with a convincing two-tone dash. Its decidedly aftermarket Pioneer color touchscreen is another weakness, being pretty unresponsive, tricky to navigate and of a low resolution. However, its standard Apple CarPlay compatibility makes it far more acceptable, and Suzuki promises this Pioneer unit will be swapped out for the Baleno system in time. Suzuki believes it'll find 6,000 homes for the Ignis per year in the UK and that 40% of sales will be front-wheel drive SZT cars. That makes perfect sense to us, because while the reassurance of All Grip will appeal to some, the majority of buyers will be better off saving the money. Suzuki says you'll then be able to add the full suite of safety kit, including automatic emergency city braking, as an option pack, which we'd advise you do. The Ignis range starts at around £10,460 and tops out with this SZ5 All Grip at around £14,460, while the predicted best-selling model should cost no more than £11,960. Viewed next to city cars such as the 500 and Atom, that makes the Suzuki competitively priced, but against baby SUVs such as the Fiat Panda 4x4 and Renault Capture it's outright cheap, right cheap.